everyone. Today I have Malte Siegle from Bayern, right? From Munich, I'm sorry.
That was, well, it was Bayern or Bavaria, yes, the Munich
Uh,
area, exactly.
okay, yeah. So basically, today I have Malte, a guy who is better than me on LinkedIn. I'm trying my best, but he's posting more value, and I really follow him, and I love everything he do. Malte, introduce yourself. What you up to these days?
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, thanks for inviting and having me here. Pleasure to be here. You know it, but the audience doesn't know it. We are connected since a year, roughly, I would say,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And got to know each other via LinkedIn, so the platform works. That's great. Cutting a long story short about myself and my background, I'm in the sports tech industry since almost 20 years. A scary long time. I'm getting old. The hair gets shorter. No glory in prevention.
Look young.
Now, but jokes aside, I think I have a pretty decent level of experience. I'm very lucky to have it. I'm humble about it because I was allowed to work for, I always say, both sides. You have a user
Mm-hmm.
side in the industry, clubs, leagues, FAs, and you
Mm-hmm.
have a provider side, like vendors, companies offering products and services to the user side. And again, over those 20 years, almost 20 years, I worked for professional football clubs, worked for sporting associations, not only football, basketball, handball, volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
I was allowed to join a big project with the German Soccer League, and then also gained a lot of experience on the other side with big corporates like Sport Radar, where I
Mm-hmm.
spent 7 years of my career in multiple roles, all very exciting. And over the past, I would say 5 to 7 years, I focused more on the startup area.
Mm-hmm.
Worked for Dutch, Spanish, Swedish startups, always in a mixed role between product and commercial and business
Mm-hmm.
development. And recently founded my own startup. So
Mm-hmm.
now I feel the pain and joy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, awesome journey. Tell us a little bit about like your own startup, what you do right now. What is the
Yeah,
idea?
yeah, of course. Again, let's cut it short. I mean, a podcast is obviously nothing where I want to promote what we do. I
Mm-hmm.
use it, of course, yeah. But in short, Here for Sports is a platform which
Mm-hmm.
we offer again to both sides, users
Mm-hmm.
and companies, to better navigate through the ever growing sports tech industry.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the end of the day, our product allows you to easily keep an overview,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, about products in the market. What are differences? What do you get out of them, etc. pp. Which companies operate in which space? And on top of that, we recently launched a new module which we call the management, the sports
Mm-hmm.
tech management, which allows clubs, leagues, and FAs to fully control their sports tech.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Meaning, who's using which tools in my organization? When do I need to cancel a contract? Whom do I need to approach if I want to talk to support? All these kind of very, you might say, basic aspects.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think of a complexity of a club and how many people interact and use what kind of tools, there's a lot of space for improvement, optimization, and also commercial potential which you can leverage. And that's what we provide.
Okay, yeah, Malte, thank you for small intro of what you do, all right? So since you have a so broad overview, right, on the industry, we want to bring up the hype team today, which is AI. AI in sports, AI in Germany, and tell us a little bit from your broad perspective, how do you see its affecting, let's say, world and Germany especially, how the Germany is following to the, let's say United States trends and how are you guys connected?
Let's try to slice it a little bit because it's a
Yeah.
big topic. I would say, and I want to start by the comparison that you opened with the United States
Mm-hmm.
and the German sports market. And no offense to anyone, especially no offense to a German club or institution, but generally, I would say, on a high level
Mm-hmm.
and on average, Germans are a bit hesitant. And I can talk for myself, right? I mean, I'm enthusiastic. I love testing new things, but testing and using is very different. And also, I myself have the feeling that there's still a little bit more hesitation in the German market towards those advanced and AI based products and services, rather than comparing it now to the United States, where people go like, yeah, yeah, let's give it a try. I'm not sure if that's just my impression, but hey, you asked for it, so that's kind of my view. Nevertheless, and I think this is a global phenomenon. Once a certain product, a certain service, or even a certain method has proven to be valuable, then everyone working in the professional sports industry really takes a proper look at it and evaluates whether we want to use it or not. Again, long answer short. Generally, I think Germans are a bit more hesitant in the club leagues FAs. But also here we have different nuances. Obviously, it's also related to the financial potential. If you look at the first division in the German Football League, you have the top teams, also like commercially top teams. The Bayern Munich, Leverkusen, Dortmund, Leipzig. They can try stuff if they want to. It doesn't matter, because if you compare it to the whole budget they have throughout the year, it doesn't matter a lot. Obviously, they don't burn money, but they can risk it a little bit easier. Compared to, let's say, teams that just got promoted or recently relegated, like Kiel. I don't know if you know them, but they have like just a little part of the budget the big ones have. So these ones really need to be careful in what to pick. And if you now compare it to the MLS, to the first division in the United States, that's all franchise. That's a different approach, and they all have most probably a pretty decent budget.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So I think that's an aspect we also need to consider when discussing about willingness to try new things. Generally, and I don't want to go too deep, I'm a big fan of the law of diffusion of innovation. Super complex title, super easy to explain. You have this normal distribution curve, and only the first couple of percentage are real innovators. So if you want to launch a new product, try to identify those ones. Then you have early adopters, early majority, and like the further down you go the road, the bigger your market is. And you should not waste time talking to the guys at the end of the normal distribution, because they will never use something innovative.
Okay, makes sense. Really interesting. One thing you brought up is that in United States and MLS, the clubs are franchise, and right? And in Germany, how does it work?
Yeah, it's relatively simple or easy to explain. In the MLS, you cannot be relegated. So you can literally play the whole season, do not score any goal, do not win any match, end the season with 0 points. Next season, you will play MLS again.
Okay.
Whereas in Germany, on almost every other league in the world, you have promotion and relegation. So if you end up last in the Bundesliga in Germany, you will be relegated to the second division. And then it's related to the TV money and to the financial potential. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. So basically in US, all clubs are stable, and actually they all have not same, but they have a stable, how to say it, like a cash flow. And in case in Germany, if you go a division lower, you will have less money, right, in the next season.
Significantly less money. Yes, absolutely.
Interesting. All right. So you mentioned that Germans are kind of hesitating a little bit, and they love to have something proved before actually trying. Give us some examples on some innovate companies that you see in the market and that actually changing the mindset of a team.
Yeah, I think one really good example who is also a real innovator in the sports tech industry is a company from Munich, Germany, called Kinexon Sports. They've, again, narrowing it down and making it easy to understand. They developed a new type of transponder-based tracking system. Not a GPS, it's using a slightly different technology, and they generate a lot of data. And if you want to, first of all, to generate the data in a smart way, you can use certain methods, methods, yeah. And one of them is AI. And again, not diving too deep into it. And also from the analytical part, once you have the data, load prediction, how exhausting is a certain movement for a player, is there an indication for a risk of injury, etc. pp. Those are all aspects they can now enable and do themselves. They've also recently launched a computer vision product in basketball, for example, if you look into other sport. Optical tracking, computer vision, clearly an AI aspect. It's a part component of the big AI universe. And there are, for me, that's a really good example. A nice fact that, or nice thing they also did, and I'm not promoting them.
Yeah, just interesting.
Yeah, during COVID, I don't know if you remember, but the basketball players and the football players, they were like locked into a bubble. They were and still were able to play, and then they used the transponders to ensure that during non-match time, they were not getting too close to each other and stuff like
Okay.
that. Those are so that's for me a good example. And then in general, I'm curious. Sorry, there's one more I want to mention here. Let's really see how that goes. Very promising. They need to go into the market now. They recently launched. It's called Game Code AI.
Game called AI.
Yes. They are also based in Munich. And they claim to have a product where a coach can just like use certain modules and put them together in order to create his own more or less AI analytical layer. So maybe it's a good description by saying it's a sports related AI agent generator. And obviously that's going to be very interesting because one aspect that is not covered well so far when we think about the analytical aspect is you have an AI model that wants to model a certain behavior. So let's say run behind the defensive line. If we talk to 3 different coaches, they would have 3 different definitions of this movement behind the defensive line. And I think it's already clear what I want to emphasize on. Now, if I am a provider who has one model, it might fit the philosophy of one of those 3 coaches. But what about the other 2? They go like, nah, I completely disagree. This is not the way I would model it. And if you're now able to enable the coach or his staff to simply put a couple of sliders and tweak the tier without having to study 6 years data science, to create his own very custom ML model to analyze movements behind the line and whatsoever, then it's obviously going to be very interesting. So that's another company in the German space. And then in general, for me, and I see it with my small baby little startup. I mean, I'm not a big company. You're talking to one of the 2 founders. We're bootstrapped. Where we try to keep it as long as possible to be and remain bootstrapped. Sounds weird, but we like it. It's just like it's a tiny little thing. But even if I look back 4 months ago, only 4 months ago, we had a completely different approach in our data gathering. And now we're changing that due to the incredibly fast development of AI. So I think if we look now at the development of artificial intelligence over the last 2 to 3 years, we all were like, oh wow, there's ChatGPT. And oh, I can ask questions. And then like a year ago, maybe, I'm making it up a little bit now. A year ago, you were like, oh wow, you could actually use it in different areas. We already use it in different aspects. I didn't know we did. But again, optical tracking, automated event detection, those are all machine learning algorithms. And then a good year ago, there was also, oh, there's more than ChatGPT. Actually, ChatGPT is not AI. It's just one of a product using AI. It's a chatbot. Okay, chatbots are AI. We need a chatbot. Oh, there's Claude. And then it started, and now you realize there's so much more which you can use easily. We quickly touched upon the AI agents.
Yeah.
You can now easily create an AI agent by prompting something. It's not
Okay.
miracles anymore. If you dare to work with AI and if you understand the core principles of data modeling, databases, etc., it's crazy what's possible. And we're still at the beginning of the journey. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
you're familiar with vibe coding, for example, where you just
I.
tell,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Go ahead. I've heard about it.
That's another aspect. Obviously, it's exciting. It shows a big potential, but you also have to be very careful.
Mm-hmm.
If you use it wrong or wrongly, and you're not able to control the output, then you're completely screwed. Because how? So you need to still have this kind of low level of expertise, but things are going way faster and way more efficient. And every company worldwide has to adapt to it, otherwise they will be out of business. 100% sure about it.
Okay,
So,
yeah, give us like one practical example in sports. When have you seen the AI being used by what club and maybe exactly for what?
sorry, for
In
a club,
Germany. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I would say injury prevention.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about the fact, if you now have, as a professional soccer club, a professional data setup, which can be a data lake, for example, where you ingest all the different data. And now I'm talking about all the different data: performance data during training, during matches, medical data, rehab data, maybe even personalized data from a Aura ring during their
Mm-hmm.
non-club time. You have so much data, you cannot analyze it without the proper mechanisms, and you are not able to how do you want to detect certain patterns, certain how do you want to do certain clustering without applying AI models?
Mm-hmm.
Or if you think about another example, I think that's going to become very, very prominent soon, if it's not yet, which I think it is. Scouting reports. They are still drawn by hand or written by hand a lot of the
Yeah.
time. You now can just, I mean, that's one of the, how do you want to digitalize it? Now you just literally you have your document, I'm a scout. I write, okay,
Uh-huh.
great player, blah blah blah. Super ugly handwriting. You just take your normal smartphone, take a picture, then you have a what is it, OCR, optical character recognition model,
Mm-hmm.
who digitalizes your handwriting automatically within a blink of an eye, because it's simple for the model. It even helps you to further improve the way you write it by using
Uh-huh.
large language models, etc. pp. And then you send it automatically.
Interesting.
That's for me another example of how you don't necessarily also always have to go over crazy when you
Mm-hmm.
think about AI. For me, the aspect of making things more efficient, quicker, cheaper, that's insane. That's really insane.
Okay, and tell me about this. So you mentioned scouting reports, right? That the AI could help you just basically write a scouting report. Do you think there is a opportunity for AI? So let's say out of the all data, right, out there available, there is a lot of data for AI to create these scouting reports based, let's say, on some, let's say, event or performance data. Do you think AI will be able, taking the data, create the reports for coaches, like insights?
Absolutely. I think that's already happening. I mean, we did it, gosh, 7, 8 years ago already at Sportradar.
Oh, really?
It was more related to a media product, but it was called, oh gosh, what was it? I don't remember the project name, but at the end of the day, we used different data points, weather data. Let's say a soccer match, okay?
Yeah.
Team A against Team B. We knew the classic stats: number of shots, number of won duels, number of passes, number of warnings, yellow and red cards, and weather data. It was sunny, then audience data, completely booked out arena. And we used it, and again, cutting it short, threw it on an AI. Or the
Hmm.
other way around. Used an AI model and threw it on it and said, create a newspaper report or digital magazine report of the match. And at the end of the day, the output was exciting. On a sunny Saturday afternoon, Team A met Team B, like including the past three matches. Team A on a winning streak. Will they? The filled arena gave a great atmosphere, and the match started very intensely. There were many duels, and Team B was really showing their will. They overdid it a bit, got three early yellow cards. It ended up in a attack whatever by 7 shots of this and
Interesting.
write it. I mean, you can do it yourself. Just, I mean, everyone in the audience. Maybe we can have it as a call for action. Just literally copy paste the stats from one of your last favorite matches, ChatGPT, Claude, or whatever bot you use, and say create a match report for it. It will work. It will. I promise you, it will work. It might not be the best you've ever read, but it will work. And the crazy thing about it, if you then properly develop your AI model, you can still teach it. You can
And then it gets better and better.
You can say, dear Kirill AI, don't use soccer. Please use football. Stuff like that.
Interesting. So that's we are talking about, content scene, and we need to wrap it up soon. But I have as a question regarding do you think AI is able to understand those small differences in the games? If AI could create actually detailed report for a coach, let's say if this defender is a stay-at-home defender, right? Or is that attacking defender? And do you think AI will be able to understand all of these small details of the game?
Right now, no. Just purely because of the fact that the input data is not good enough.
Okay.
But this will change. Also due to AI in different areas. I think AI will be able to do a very, very lot in case they have a lot of data and high quality data available. Nevertheless, and I know we need to wrap it up, and maybe this is a good way to do so, AI is absolutely amazing. It's gonna change maybe not everything, but the majority of things we're used to, and we're just at the beginning. Nevertheless, football or soccer is a sport based on the principle of a dynamic system. There are way too many degrees of freedom. 11 versus 11, a referee, a ball, audience, the
grass, weather, everything.
There are so many degrees of freedom, and the AI will never be able to look inside of me. And if I'm one of the elements of this dynamic system, and I don't know, my dog is not feeling well today, and I have a match, this is still in my head. So again, great potential, but nobody has to be scared to be removed. We need to change the way we approach things, and we have to educate ourselves in a different way to keep up. But then, the sport will stay exciting as it is.
All right, Malte, a really interesting talk. Awesome. It was actually really insightful, and I'd love to have you more, maybe, let's say, in a year time to catch up, to show the news from Germany. But it was great to chat with you, Malte. It was great to have you.
Likewise. Thanks again for having me, and hopefully you enjoyed it. And in a year from now, we'll see where the AI journey goes, and then I will be completely bald.
Okay, not now. Not now. I forgot to ask, what is your favorite sport?
Well, that's a tricky one. I was about to say soccer or football, but at the end of the day, I would literally say sport in general. It sounds very esoteric, but sport for me is one of the only things in the world that really does not care about where are you coming from, what type of person are you, what kind of ethical background, educational background. It doesn't matter. It connects people. It's a combination of emotions and joy. So there are a couple of sports, but in general, sports is fantastic.
Who is your favorite player?
Give me 1 second. I really think Cristiano Ronaldo for me is a role model. You can say about him whatever you want, but if you look a little bit behind the curtain of the showman and the Instagram influencer and whatever, he really works for it. He's 40, I think. Look at the level of professionalism. So
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a bit of a catchy one to go for Ronaldo, but I think he really works hard for his success. And really working hard for success is something that just impresses me.
What is the favorite part of your work, of your job?
This people, people,
People.
absolutely 100%. I love networking. I love to give trust.
Uh-huh.
Although I fell over it a couple of times because people just used my trust.
Mm-hmm.
But this is for me, if I cannot be open, transparent, and trustful towards others, then a very core element of my life would be missing. And
Okay.
I don't want this to change. Yeah, networking, meeting people, supporting people, finding synergies together. One plus one is more than two.
Yeah, true, true. Awesome, Malte. Thank you. Now we are wrapping this up. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Really interesting to speak. I'll add your info into the podcast post on LinkedIn so people could reach you out if they want.
Absolutely.
And,
I'm also
it was.
responsive on LinkedIn. It might take a couple of days because it really works
Mhm.
and I get a couple of messages, but I really respond so far to every message. So please take the offer and reach out.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Malte.
Perfect. Thank you. Bye bye.